sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It is 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are pumped up, primed up, and ready to go. You want to be a part of the show? You can be. All you got to do is call in, text in on the Red 17's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio, and we are having a ball already. As always, on a Tuesday, we got Jeffrey in the house wearing the Key Largo Fisheries seafood and bait shirt today. It's all bright orange on me. Mm-hmm.
It's actually faded in the sun a little bit because I always seem to wear it out in the sun because it's a Key Largo shirt.
Yeah, well, you're trying to give me a little bit of orange. You didn't want to wear the Tennessee. You didn't want to wear anything else. You gave me the orange Key Largo. I like it. I like Key Largo orange. It looks pretty good.
So you got a lot of hatred for the orange because it's not just the Auburn and Tennessee, but you got Florida too.
Yeah, and Clemson.
Yeah,
Don't leave out Clemson.
Man, I don't know.
Don't leave out Clemson.
You know, I can guarantee you, it is only because y'all met them in the national championship.
It is.
They beat y'all twice.
It is. They did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would one have, not have been as significant one time?
One time, probably not. Let me tell you the real reason why I get so upset, because I felt like during those times where Clemson was really hot and winning, it felt like Herb Street and Fowler were on the side of Clemson. It was when ETN busts through the line for a gain of 4, and it would be like Derrick Henry falls through the line for 4 yards. It would seem like that, and I would just be like, yeah, listen to that, and I would be like complaining. This is when I would, never have any pillows beside me because I was throwing them, watching the game, that kind of deal. So either way, that's my hatred for Clemson, absolutely.
And then y'all beat Georgia one time in the national championship, and then they beat y'all in 21. Mm-hmm. But you've already kind of hated Georgia a little bit.
I like Kirby. That's the hard part about it. He was ours. And so it feels like we allowed them to get where they are because he was ours.
I only know one person that's flipped teams.
What do you mean?
There's a guy I know in Georgia.
What?
Along the Alabama state line. And he grew up in Alabama, and he was a Bama fan. Mm. And then I got to know him, 2 years ago? And he flipped to Georgia.
Wow. Yes.
And I think it was because of the back-to-back.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
And it's not like he's next to Athens because he's, over near, a little west of Rome. If you know where Rome, Georgia is. So he's near the Alabama state line in Georgia. Mm-hmm. But, I guess maybe for business, I don't know, sake or whatever, he's got to become a Bulldog, and that's what he did. And that's the only person I've known that's flipped.
You can allow your second team to be that other team that might be for business reasons or whatever. Yeah. But you can't just flip. You just can't. That's a no-go in college football. Don't want to leave out the Bone Crusher. He's here, got his Grapico shirt on, my favorite drink.
Yeah, Kirby Smart wasn't he at Georgia before he went to Alabama?
He played there. He played there.
That doesn't count or something?
Not for his coaching career.
That counts a lot.
Okay, I understand. But he went to LSU, too.
You got it from us, and we took him back. We reclaimed Kirby Smart.
Well, I'll tell you this. To me, best college football coach. Yeah, that's right. He's the best college football coach right now in the game, to me.
Yeah. I was thinking about it today. I was like, what SEC coaches have coached in the SEC championship? And there's not many left because Elko's about to make it in his second year at A&M. right, as a head coach, right?
Yeah.
Sark did in his first year in this conference because he had just entered the conference. And then you got Kirby Smart. Nobody else. Not Hopel.
Nope.
No, Auburn coach is gone.
Yep.
Missouri, no.
Yep. None of those guys.
Can you believe that? So right now, currently, A&M hasn't made it yet. So we're just talking about Sark and Kirby Smart. That's it.
Yeah, I think
That's crazy.
I think A&M are guaranteed in.
They are.
regardless
They
of-
are.
Yeah,
They
so
are.
he'll actually be able to do that.
So Alabama loses to Auburn. Georgia's in to the championship game. I wonder if Bama wins, which I believe is what's going to happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know it's hard for you to take that Bama's going to win, but if Bama wins, are they in the SEC championship?
Yeah, they are for sure, 100%.
Because they have the tiebreaker on Georgia,
Yeah.
and Georgia has the tiebreaker on Ole Miss.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's how it works.
That's
yeah,
dominance.
and we'll talk about it as we get on. But we've been putting on Facebook about rivalry week, and we talked about hate week and the hatred for the teams. And so what's crazy is to look online and to see all of these people talking about it. And I want to get yours because obviously you were at work today. You didn't get a chance. So when you look at the way it's set up, you know, for the poll's sake, we had Alabama and Auburn, Florida State and Florida, Ohio State and Michigan, Texas and Texas A&M, Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
See, I'm not sure if Ole Miss and Mississippi State's top 5.
Right, but
they might be right out. They're top 10 for sure.
The reasoning behind the is because of this week being rivalry week. Now, obviously, you've got Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Texas and Oklahoma. And that was the biggest
snub
of the whole post. I mean, there was over 1,000 votes.
So people were screaming Texas, Oklahoma.
Yes, a lot of people were screaming Texas, Oklahoma into the fact of it was becoming smack talk a lot. And you started seeing people.
Is Brian Alston in there?
I don't think so. I haven't seen him. But if you look at it, you know, really when you read all of these, it's like the Red River shootout. The Red River rivalry is the biggest one. I mean, I didn't realize that everybody was so intent with this Texas-Oklahoma thing. And obviously, they used to be in another conference. They both came over to the SEC now, and that makes it, you know, does it take away? Is it you know, because every time they played, that was to be the boss of that conference. Whereas now in the SEC, you've got Alabama, you got Georgia, you got Tennessee, you got LSU, all have been successful. And Oklahoma, outside of beating Alabama, really hasn't done very well. Texas has, as far as first, you know, coming into the conference and being able to do something.
Let me squash it right here. They're not top 3.
Texas and
Oklahoma. Texas, Oklahoma is not top 3.
And that's
I'll tell you why, and I'll give you 1, 2, 3. Right? It's Alabama, Auburn is my number 2. Okay. Michigan, Ohio State is my number 1. And my number 3.
That was so weird. Why did you do it like that? Why did you go 2, 1, 3?
Because I want to drop the number 3 on you and watch your
Why
mouth
not go
drop.
1, 2, 3? Why'd you go 2, 1, 3?
Well, I don't know.
Sometimes
Well, anyway.
you just get crazy.
So number 3, and this will drop your jaw, and you're going to argue with me because I know how you are.
Because it's Notre Dame or Penn State.
It's Army-Navy. It's Army-Navy. This is a special thing, man. I've just watched, like,
It's got
the national.
It's got its own week. It's got its own week.
Yes.
It's got
and
its
it's
own-
championship week.
It's got its own week.
Yes. So crazy. It's so good. I'll watch, like, the national anthem, and I'll get goosebumps sometimes. And to do the flyover, and it's just like, it's America is what it is. And that's my number 3. And Ole Miss does not make the top 5 with their Egg Bowl. And I don't even think you know the reason why it's called Egg Bowl.
I don't.
Okay. In 1979, the Clarion Herald, which is a Jackson newspaper, called it the Egg Bowl because they were playing for nothing. It was zeros because neither one could make a bowl in 1979. And that's a shame that this is what it's been named as.
Yeah.
That's awful, man. I mean, and I don't even think that the Magnolia Bowl between Ole Miss and LSU is such a good name either, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I do want to read some of the comments because it really shows that there is passion on the other side. Yeah. No Red River rivalry, ? I get it's played in October, but come on. Now, here's one. Alabama versus Auburn, because the state of Alabama doesn't have a pro team to fall back on.
You're right.
This game just means more for 365 days.
But it's number 2 in my book.
And then it said, I've heard of people killing each other after the Iron Bowl. What is more hatred than that?
Ohio State, Michigan.
So Texas, Oklahoma is the biggest next to Michigan, Ohio State.
Here's the news flash. When did they join the same conference?
You talking about
Texas, Oklahoma?
I don't know.
1991. Because Texas is in the Southwest Conference with all the Texas teams and Arkansas. Oklahoma was part of the Big Eight with Oklahoma's major rival was Nebraska. Oklahoma and Nebraska fought it out through the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, all the way to 91.
Yeah.
This has not been a rivalry forever. They won titles in the 60s, in the 70s a little bit also, but the 60s were their heyday of these two teams, and they weren't even in the same conference. This is not top 5. Sorry.
Everybody, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm getting Oklahoma, Texas. I mean, it's just it's a big deal.
You know why? Because Texas thinks the world revolves around Texas. The Longhorn fans believe that.
Yeah.
You know? And they snub the Aggies. Because the Aggies is a big, that's some hatred too. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
And that's why I put Texas and Texas A&M in there, because I wanted to see what the hatred is. And a lot of it is the hatred for the money and for, who is
it's a
better.
Talk. It's a talk too. Yeah.
But, the other people that was bringing up was Georgia Tech, which I don't see that being, because Georgia has dominated Georgia Tech for so long.
And then we talked about Clemson, South Carolina, because people chiming in with that. That's not top 5.
Yeah,
easily.
they've talked about Clemson and South Carolina. And to me, Clemson has been relevant, but South Carolina really hasn't been. And that's, even if they beat Clemson last year, they beat them. They were the first team out, like you talked about, or one of the first four out in the playoff. But still, realistically, South Carolina has not been on Clemson's level at any rate. But, feel free, if you are listening and you want to make a shout out to what you think, 850-215-6290, because, Georgia and Georgia Tech will be playing on Friday right here on 104.3 ESPN on the radio. So if you are riding around or whatever, it starts at 2 p.m., the coverage, if you're going from house to house for Thanksgiving. That's the other question I wanted to ask. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Is it a big deal? Are you doing big family plans? Are you going, are your daughters coming in? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm going with the girlfriend, my brother, and my sister-in-law. We all have reservations at a local restaurant.
There you go. So that's good.
Beachside.
Yeah.
I mean, not that is there anything wrong with the city side or St. Andrews, but, that's where we're going to be, beachside.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And Bone Crusher, what you got?
Oh, not much, but I understand you're looking forward to a nice ham and some time with the in-laws. Is that right?
No. That's already happened. So my mother-in-law came over last week, and she wanted to fix us a traditional Thanksgiving meal. Well, I'm not a big traditional Thanksgiving meal. I love seafood. I love that kind of stuff. And the thing is that, it was fine. It was good. We had mashed potatoes and deviled eggs, which I love deviled eggs.
Oh, you got your deviled eggs.
I mentioned the deviled eggs, and they said, no, that's not a part. That's not a part of it. And I'm like, well, what? Why wouldn't you have deviled eggs if we're doing a Thanksgiving meal? Yeah. And so either way, I got my deviled eggs. I stomached through the ham. I'm not a big ham person. I'm more of a turkey person than I am a ham person. And so, you choked
it down.
And it was fine. It was okay. It was good. But, just to give, because I'm a meat and potatoes kind of person, I got to have meat with my meal. I'm not going to just eat, a side for my dinner. My wife can eat macaroni and cheese for dinner. And I'm like, no, I can't do that, or a salad for dinner. No, I got to have some meat. whatever. And, it's always a big deal going on in my household. It's like, you don't have to have meat, but yes, I do, I feel like I've earned the right to eat the meat. So
Everything okay with the mother-in-law?
Oh, yeah, she was great. She was happy. Yeah, she was very happy.
Does she live in Kentucky or North Carolina? Where she live?
She lives in South Carolina at the beach up there.
Wow,
yeah,
cool.
Surfside. So, yeah. So she visited. She cooked us this big conglomerate of meal. And so, she was like, you can make your ham sandwiches for later. And so no ham sandwiches for me. Sorry.
I'm not the only one that loves deviled eggs.
Oh, I love them.
I have a friend of mine. He is a fiend for that. He's like, he could just keep on eating them.
Yeah. So let me tell you this real quick. It's a good thing Bone Crusher brought this up because so when I told her about it, her biggest complaint was it takes so long to boil the eggs to make. Yeah. So that was the big
Boil the eggs.
Yeah,
No,
so-
it's a 6-minute egg. 7 minutes maybe.
Okay, but so what the deal is she went to one of the local grocery stores and ended up buying one of those things that make like 6 or 8 or 12 eggs that you just put in like the oven or the microwave or something that boils the egg for you. And then guess what she did?
What?
She left it for us to have. So now my wife can just fix deviled eggs all the times when I want them. So probably get my wife to fix some deviled eggs for the show since you like them.
Boiled eggs are one of the healthiest things for you to eat. Because there's no oil.
Man.
There's no oil. Eggs are so healthy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. Thanks,
Just
Jeff.
saying. Yeah.
I
love me some. Oh my God, I love me some deviled eggs.
So, Bone Crusher, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Because we gotta figure it out. What you doing?
Not much. Just going to chill out. The wife's probably going to make some Filipino food. And,
A whole pig.
yeah.
A whole pig on the skewer.
Some lechon. Yeah.
Oh.
The lechon is fantastic. The
Yeah.
skin gets so crispy and delicious.
What's lechon?
Lechon it's a roasted pig. Hawaiians will cook.
Okay.
Will
Apple in the mouth.
Yeah.
So it's a slow hand rotisserie pig, a whole pig on a stick.
And,
over open fire.
I watched, I think it was 90 Day Fiance, and this guy was interested in this. No, it's funny. This is a few years back, right? Well, my wife was watching it. This is what
90
happened.
Day Fiance.
Sure. It was 90 Day Fiance, and this guy was into this Filipino girl, and he went to the Philippines, and he visited with the family of the girl, and they had a whole pig roast, like he's talking about, and the eyes, the head, everything's on that skewer, and they're slow roasting it, and he said, no thanks.
Yeah, you can't do
It
that.
offended them. Yeah, big time.
No thanks.
Yeah, he said, no thanks. And it kind of, and they were like, she was like, you do understand, like, this isn't just like, this is a special event. Like, they don't have the money for this usually.
Yeah.
So it's like very, I don't say once a year-ish, but probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. I don't know how we got. I guess we did
Well,
for
it's all
Thanksgiving
food.
meals.
Well, he's with the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I went to the Philippines, I got to pick out my own pig. That's great.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
got my
Oh
own
really?
pig for a wedding. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta. I don't want to say I one up that one, but there's a barbecue joint that I
promise this
love.
is not going to be how the rest of the show goes. But go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
There's a barbecue joint that I used to go to, and you know how like you go to Five Guys Burgers and Fries, and it says your potatoes today are from Rexburg, Idaho, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went to I go to the barbecue place, and it has a billboard thing, and it says your pig today is from High Point, North Carolina. They tell you where your pig was from.
Oh wow, that's
That is so cool, and you're like, this is authentic right here. No, and it was so good.
Well, that's pretty crazy. I guess so. So Bone Crusher, while you're on the mic, what would you say is you think is the most hated rivalry in college football? Because we've had a bunch
Georgia,
of people.
Florida.
Georgia,
I hate
Florida.
them Gators. I hate Coach Spurrier. He caused us so much trouble back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
hate it. Yeah.
And does it make you mad that obviously they can't play every rivalry game on rivalry week?
Yeah.
But do you think that Oklahoma and Texas and then Georgia and Florida is a bigger rivalry at the middle of the year than what they're playing at the end of the year? Do you think Georgia and Florida is a bigger rivalry than Georgia Tech? And then on the flip side, do you think Texas and Oklahoma is a bigger rivalry than Texas and Texas A&M? So that's the question. Should those games flip to the point to where that's the hate week, that's the rivalry week? Because realistically, I see you shaking your head, so you would agree with that.
No, I say, like, if you ask a Texas A&M person, they're going to say it's Texas A&M. You talk to a Texas person, they're going to say it's Oklahoma. But there is a little bit of a, I don't want to say nostalgia with it being at the end of the year. It's definitely neat, and I hate to, like, jump to another rivalry, but Notre Dame USC. I mean, there were some times where they played at the end of the year. I wish they would go back to that.
Yeah.
And I know USC has the UCLA thing, but that's not really up to snuff. It's been like 30, maybe 28 years since that's really even been significant, really.
Yeah.
And they have thrown a couple upsets, but not really. Not like the Notre Dame USC game where we just don't even know who's going to win.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's a good place to leave it. When we come back from the break, we are going to talk to someone from Ole Miss. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone Service.
The Red 17 studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Rich Eisen Show.
It's not working right now. Geno, is he the quarterback of the future? That's the tough thing, is when you have 2 wins entering week 12 and your quarterback of the future is most likely not on the roster. And it's laudatory that you've got a coach who's taking the credit because he's trying to protect the quarterback, who's taking the blame because he wants to protect the coach. That's all admirable. But when it comes down to it, what does Tom Brady think of it?
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays 11 to 2. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear the rest of the day with a moderate breeze at 15 miles per hour coming out of the south and temps near 77. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and light sprinkles and be quite warm at 68. Likely thunderstorms in the morning followed by some clouds tomorrow and a high 76. Sunshine Thursday with a temp of 62. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction, 850-740-3815, or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. This is the Sports Blitz, where we don't have guests. We have punching bags. The Sports Blitz on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad that you've joined us today. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or the ESPN Northwest Florida app, or you can call in at 850-215-6290. We're honored today to have Steve Barnes from the RebelWalk.com. And with that being said, Steve, how are you doing today, my friend?
Real quick before we start, my nephew, who lives in Panama City Beach, has his birthday today.
All right.
This might predate y'all.
Yes.
But he was born the day that Johnny Rodgers of Nebraska ran back that punt against Oklahoma for a touchdown that basically won the Heisman Trophy. It was Thanksgiving. So my nephew was born Thanksgiving Day, 1971. Michael Shane Halstead, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, Michael. And he's, let's see, so 71, 54.
Yeah.
So him and Jeff are around the same age.
I was not living at that time.
And I still miss writing about college football. I don't write about ball anymore. Guess what I'm writing about today?
Tell us.
Well, let's put it this way. Here's my lead. This time last year, Ole Miss fans were complaining about egg prices. This year, they're complaining about egg bowl prices.
Oh, yes. So how
if
much?
If you want to sit behind the Mississippi State bench in the lower level, it's going to cost you $238. If you want to sit in the corner of the end zone and the 3 end zones that are, those corners that are basically reserved for state people, it's going to cost you less than $200. If you want to sit in the lower level in the Ole Miss corner of the end zone, $751.
Oh, wow.
If you want to, get a little discount and sit in the upper section, $469. There's only one other ticket that costs more than the Ole Miss ticket. Apparently, there's still a suite left to be rented for $1,617. If I'm an Ole Miss guy, I don't know how many people it would seat, but it's got to be at least 10. Let's get 10 people to pop in $161 each and sit up there and drink their beer and eat their food.
Yeah, because that comes with the catered meal. That's correct. Yeah.
Now on the converse in the Mississippi area, Mississippi Valley State has their last home game. They're playing Florida A&M at Rice Totten Stadium in Itabena. Guess how much their tickets are?
$12.
Free. Free admission.
Oh, wow.
The place only holds 10,000 people, but let's face it, Mississippi is the poorest state in the country, and that region is the poorest region in that state.
Yeah.
Most people could not afford a $10 ticket to get in. Now they get to go in to see a ball game for free. So good on Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, that's good. So obviously, Steve, we've got rivalry week going on, and we did a Facebook poll today, and with over 1,000 votes earlier today, I'm going to look and see where we're at right now because we've just been kind of keeping up with it all throughout the day from when it was posted. And it looks like right now, because here's the top 5, or the top 6 actually, or no, it's 5. Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, Florida, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M and Texas, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. So Alabama is in the lead with Florida, Florida State behind them. And then oddly enough, Texas and Texas A&M come in at 3rd. Ohio State and Michigan comes in at 4th. And then Ole Miss and Mississippi State comes in at the end. Obviously, it's this area, and that's what we're polling here. What do you think about all this?
Well, I think that the Egg Bowl, I think that's the most poisonous, not the meanest. Because, Brian Haddad's a good friend of mine. Love Brian to death. Good friends with Kevin Sluter and Clay Petrie. They played defense. They played one's a defensive lineman and one was a linebacker at Mississippi State. I went to Ole Miss. We're still great friends, but they kick off at 11 o'clock. And at 10:30, we're still friends. After that, die like a dog, man. But about 3:45, when it's over, we're friends again. So I don't put that as the – and I've been to an Iron Bowl. I was there for Bow Over the Top.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a few Alabama people in the Auburn section where I was sitting. Nobody, really did anything to them. Did you say Army, Navy?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, I wouldn't put that in there anyway. If you read John Feinstein's book, oh God, I forget the name. What was that book called? It's about the Army Navy thing. Army and Navy, they're really close to each other. They just hate the Air Force Academy. But the one I would say is the quote meanest. Got to go Ohio State, Michigan, because Ohio State won't even say the word Michigan.
Yeah.
And up there, they're like, that school south.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they won't even mention their name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I forget who it was. It's Chris Spielman, who was from Ohio. And he was getting recruited, and he told his dad, said, I think I'm going to go to Michigan. And his dad said, yeah, you can go to Michigan, but you could never come here again.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty, yeah.
So in Columbus,
yep,
at Ohio State's campus, they X out every place there's an M. So if you see a men's bathroom, they'll X out the M.
Yes. Yeah, they do not like the M at all. Yeah.
Now, an underrated one for the smaller schools, Troy and Jacksonville State. That thing was just,
okay.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm going to disagree right here. Small schools, I'm sorry. Grambling Southern is in New Orleans, and that's huge. That's way bigger than any Troy ever would be.
When Troy kids go up to Jacksonville State the night before the game and paint their entire campus maroon and or garnet and gold, yeah, that's pretty bad. And they had the best T-shirts and signs ever at a ball game. It was the Gamecocks versus the Trojans. You go ahead and use your imagination what those signs were.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Let me ask you this. Obviously, we've talked this out a lot. What's the news going on right now at Ole Miss? Because me and you talked off the air. What's the latest on Kiffin right now?
The weird thing is my phone has probably rang 200 times in the last 3 days. There's one thing nobody's asking me about. The game.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, don't you really care about who wins? But the Kiffin thing, he's going to make an announcement apparently on Saturday. Like I say, apparently, because there's still no time on that announcement. When is he going to do it on Saturday? And then I saw something today, he's going to do it Friday after the game. No, he's not. He wants to get out of Starkville as quick as he can to get on Highway 45 North and go to Tupelo because his son at Oxford High School is playing Tupelo. I think it's at 6:30 that night, and the winner goes to the state championship game against either Brandon or Gulfport. And the cool thing is, they play in Starkville for the state championship. So he's not going to do it. He'll do it on Saturday. But here's the other thing I just think nobody's looking at. They said there's going to be an announcement. They didn't say what the announcement was. I think he will announce, I'm staying here and it's all over, or he's going to say, I'm going somewhere else. But he's not going to say where.
Wow.
And I say it for 3 reasons. One, he loves the spotlight. He just loves it. It's going to keep it on him a while longer. 2, it's going to force LSU and Florida to up the ante to get him. And I don't just mean salary. I think he could say, I want my own private jet. I don't want the school's jet. I want my jet. And I think they would have to say yes just to get him. And 3rd, he can go to Keith Carter, the AD at Ole Miss, and say, look, I could coach the playoffs because I don't have a new job yet. So that's a nice little loophole. But I had an idea today, and I ran it by a friend of mine who is a lawyer in town here in Pensacola, who went to Ole Miss Law School, by the way. And I said, well, what if Keith Carter says, okay, you can do that, but you have to sign this agreement? 2 stipulations in it. 1, as soon as you make a deal to sign, you don't actually have to sign the contract, but as soon as you have an agreement, you're done. You have to leave. And 2, the big thing they're afraid of in Oxford is he's going to poach all the players and take them to either Baton Rouge or Gainesville. You put this in there. When you go to wherever, any kid on this current roster who gets in the portal and goes where you go, you personally owe the Grow Collection $500,000 per player.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just kind of put a bounty on him, basically.
He would just say, do I really want the backup left guard for $500,000 of my money? So, that's I think that'd be, the way to go. But what I still can't understand is, what does he want? He keeps saying it's not about the money. Well, the money's going to be comparable. NIL is going to be comparable. What does he want? Does he want the legacy? Well, if he goes to Florida, he could win a couple of national titles. Guess what? He's still going to be behind Spurrier and Meyer. If he goes to LSU and wins one, he's going to be another guy like, Miles or Saban or Orgeron. He'll just be another one. If he's at Ole Miss,
the only one.
They're naming streets after him. Does he want continuity? Well, Keith Carter is not going anywhere as the AD there. Since he's been there, all he's done is, he was told to fire the baseball coach a few years ago, Mike Bianchi, and he said, "No, I'm gonna wait and see how it plays out." Ole Miss won a national championship.
Title. Yeah.
Coach Yo, the women's basketball coach, was going to leave for Georgia. He talked her out of it. He hired Chris Beard. Both the men and women's teams went to the Sweet 16 last year in the tournament. He hired Kiffin. The volleyball team just went on a deep run in the SEC tournament. If Kiffin leaves, I think Ole Miss is going to be fine because Keith Carter is going to make a good hire. Now, I think Scott Strickland at Florida, he is kind of on shaky ground.
Yeah.
And did the last AD at LSU pretty much get fired by the governor in a press conference?
Pretty much.
By doing a bad contract?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to offer a bigger contract to Kiffin. That's got to tell this AD, if this doesn't work out in 3 years, I'm gone.
Yep. Let me ask you this real quick let me ask you this, though. And this is just something that just kind of keeps rolling through my mind as I think about this. And everybody talks about how good this Ole Miss team is and how good of a coach Lane Kiffin is, and everybody's got their own opinions about it. But do you think, in your mind, listening to Kiffin talk about this Ole Miss team that he's got this year, specifically this year, do you think he really believes that he's got a shot to win the national title? Like, I get it. Yes, they look like they're going to make the playoff. But do you think, with all of his knowledge about what he's seen, where he's been, how he's played on, how he's coached on teams that have had, being at Alabama, being at these other places, do you think he really believes that he's got the team that can actually go win it all? Not make the playoff, but actually win it?
I think he's about 75% 25%. He thinks he could, but, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I think that. But I was talking to people in Baton Rouge, and I was talking to people in Gainesville, and this was like 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, really. They're like, well, what do you like about this guy? He's all flash. He's no substance. And if there's a better opportunity, he's going to jump for it. And now I talked to these guys this week in Baton Rouge and Gainesville. We're like, yeah, it's a done deal. We're getting Kiffin, baby. Well, I thought he was all flash, and he's going to jump for the next offer. That's just kind of weird to me. But I think the big thing is for Kiffin is he wants to win that national championship, and he could do it probably easier at LSU than he could at Ole Miss.
For sure.
I'm not sure he could do it at Florida as much as Ole Miss, because Florida, they had a culture problem since Urban Meyer. And the thing about both those schools is, since Charlie McClendon left LSU, the average tenure of a coach there is 5.1 years. At Florida, since Spurrier left, 4.1 years. So that 7-year contract's not going to last.
Yeah.
If you don't win quick, you're gone. And at Ole Miss, I'm shocked they don't give him a lifetime contract. But I think leaving is a mistake, but I can understand it. I think the Ole Miss people, and even I, since I have to write about this all the time, I just want a decision now. So tell me on Saturday, especially tell me Saturday. It'd be nice Saturday morning, because Tulane plays Saturday night. and John Summerall can say, wait a second, there's an opening at Ole Miss, forget Auburn. But the only thing about Summerall, defensive guy, Pete Golden's not leaving. So you'd bring a bunch of defensive coaches to Ole Miss, and they'd be a stout on defense next year. Oh, yeah, they would be. Not sure about the offense, though. Joe Crack's a good offense coordinator, but, he's not Charlie Weiss Jr. or he's not Lane Kiffin. I almost rather, go ahead and get Eric Morris from North Texas, bring in the offensive guy, let Golden handle the defense. I mean, you're running for, 100 yards a game. You're throwing for 300. You're scoring 44 points a game. Bring that offense with that Golden defense, you're not going to miss a beat.
But the
other thing,
yeah, go ahead.
But the other thing is Kiffin, if he goes to LSU or Florida, next year Florida has to play at Ole Miss. Every 2 years, LSU's going to play at Ole Miss. I'm not sure he wants that. And the other thing he always harps on this year is the people aren't staying for the entire game or the stadium's not full. Well, check this out. Walt Hemingway Stadium holds 64,038 people. If you combine the enrollment of Ole Miss and the city of Oxford, you would need 8,509 people more to fill the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at Florida, combine the Gainesville and the UF enrollment, you would have to add 109,000 seats. At LSU, at Baton Rouge and the enrollment for Tiger Stadium, you'd have to add 149,855 seats. And he's had it before. He was at Tennessee.
Yeah.
If they had filled the stadium with just the people there, they would need another 241,000. And this is my favorite when he was at SC, the Coliseum. Just in L.A., not the county, just the city and the USC enrollment, they would have to add another 3 million seats to fill it up. And if he's talking about, well, they didn't stay for the end of the Clemson game or the Georgia State game. Well, they were also 400 people short of selling it out, and it's in the morning, and it's hot, and you can go to the Grove and sit in a tent. Was it full at Ben Hill Griffin last week when Tennessee was beating up on Florida? No. I've been to LSU twice when Troy played there. One year, Troy had a big lead going to the fourth quarter, and the place emptied out. LSU came back and won the game, and I've met 50,000 people said, I was there for the entire thing. No, you weren't. I was there.
Yeah.
You weren't. Nobody was there. And then when Troy came in there and beat them 24-21, they were up 24-7 in the fourth quarter, and everybody left, and they almost came back. People leave when it's a bad game.
Yeah, and I think this about Florida. I don't think I don't think LSU is or I don't think Florida is a better job than LSU. I think LSU is the better job, but
LSU is the best job available right now.
But the fact of all of the mess, the stuff that's going on behind the scenes with Brian Kelly, the governor, all of those things, I don't think Lane Kiffin wants to get involved with that. That's the biggest point to that I believe points him more to Florida, is the fact that I believe he can do exactly what he's doing at Ole Miss at Florida. I believe that he can bring his people, he can make it his culture change, he can do those things. But at LSU, I don't think he likes having daddy over the top of him, so to speak, with the governor being able to step in and having the new athletic director and all of those things. So I think,
this is what
I think he'll be able to do.
When I say he's going to make the announcement and not say where he's going, and he could, dictate some terms, I think he could tell LSU, I'll come, but the governor and the president of the university have to stay away from me. And I think LSU would just go to the governor and say, hey, you want this guy? Here's what you got to do. You got to keep your hands off of us.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. But we're bumped up against the break, Steve. We appreciate it. And don't forget, we will go Monday.
By the way.
Yeah.
One last thing. Jeff, your I guess the history of the Egg Bowl was incorrect. I got this from Rick Cleveland, who is the curator of the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame. It's called the Egg Bowl because they had to come up with a trophy for the game, and it was supposed to be a golden football on top of the trophy. But when they got it, the football looks like an egg. It does not look like a football.
Wow. There you go,
and
folks.
So they started calling the battle for the golden egg, and then it got shortened to the Egg Bowl.
There you go. Well, Steve, we appreciate it. And we'll definitely talk to you next week, and hopefully we'll have a decision made by then.
Well, we better.
That's right. All
All right,
right.
guys. Talk to y'all later.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. And when we come back, we're going to dive into more of this rivalry week. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
When it comes to backyard dreams, trust the name that's been making waves for over 65 years. Cox Pools. Serving the entire Florida Panhandle, Cox Pools brings experience, innovation, and quality to every custom pool design. From luxurious spas to resort-style pools, no vision is too big. Make your backyard the place to be with Cox Pools. Cox Pools, 65 years strong and still making a splash. Visit coxpools.com or call 850-235-7957.
Keep the adventures going this holiday season in a new Kia from Billbird Kia during the Season of New Tradition sales event. Billbird Kia is now offering 0.9% APR for up to 60 months plus $750 bonus cash on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or a new 2025 Kia Telluride. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Countdown to savings is going on now, so drive away in a new Kia before the year ends and celebrate the season in style. Billbird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. See us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillbirdKiaPanamaCity.com.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or VIN-specific new 2025 Telluride with $1,705 per month per 1,000 financed at 60 months. Quality's limited. $750 APR bonus is applied as down payment and no cash value. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billbird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 12/1/25.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. And now the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host, Paul Wilson.
Fresh new start.
Locally sourced, farm to radio. The Sports Blitz.
We're starting fresh.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're so glad that you decided to join us today. Whether you're listening on the radio, Facebook, ESPN app, or YouTube, we appreciate it. You can like, comment, share, all the above, because we're live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio. We do have someone on the Red 7T's phone line. We're going to go ahead and take that call. Ed, are you there with us, my friend? Hello.
One of y'all's families, by the way.
What's going on, Ed? Are you there?
I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. What's happening, man?
All right, man. My topic for today is this week in college football, who's eating crow and who's eating pumpkin pie?
All right. Well, what you got? I want to know who's eating the crow first. Let's get that out of the way.
Let's say, man, I think Vanderbilt is going to lose to Tennessee. And I think Auburn is going to lose the Iron Bowl. How about that? How are those two?
Oh, yeah. I think you're doing all right. I think I'm liking it.
And the game I do like personally is the A&M versus Longhorns, but I truly don't believe Texas is going to pull it out. I think A&M is going to walk away from Austin with a W on that one.
All right, so the question of the day, we've had a poll on our Facebook page at ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got the top 5 rivals on there listed. We've got Alabama, Auburn. We've got A&M and Texas. We've got Ole Miss and Mississippi State. We've got Ohio State and Michigan. And out of those groups, who do you think is the one that's hated the most? The fans hate each other. The players hate each other the most out of those.
Michigan and OU.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that one. That's got to be it.
Yeah, a lot of people today have commented about it being Texas and Oklahoma. Obviously, they don't play at the end of the year, but Texas and Oklahoma.
Okay.
Okay, yes or okay, no.
Okay. But, I mean, rivalries are good. They're fun games. And, with the holidays and everything, I'm excited to watch some college ball.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I appreciate the call, Ed. We do appreciate it. So you do think Texas A&M is going to – you think it's going to be close?
No. I don't. I think A&M, we're going to see maybe after halftime. If Texas gets their head out of their butts, maybe they can pull out a W. But I truly think A&M is going to just go 100 miles an hour on them.
Wow. Okay, so Marcel Reed might be able to get his Heisman moment.
Fingers crossed, but we'll see how it goes. And y'all take it easy. I like and subscribe, and I'll check y'all out.
Yes, sir.
Make sure everyone else does too, guys.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, Ed, and we appreciate the call. When you think about it, Jeff, when you see people that love Texas, it does seem like to me, and we're going to have Stone Cold Brian Austin in tomorrow to talk about this. I've never seen a fan base that when I've talked to them, they seem to be a little bit more realistic this year than they have in the past. I've heard more Texas fans believe that they're not going to win this year compared to, the years past. They've always thought that Texas was going to win. It's kind of like Dallas Cowboy fans. They believe, because they won last weekend, they're going to go to the Super Bowl now. They beat the Eagles. Yeah. So, but this year's Texas, I don't think they have confidence in their team this year. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah. And it's offense. They don't have any offense. I mean, it's like LSU. We feel demoralized because we don't have an offense. Auburn doesn't seem to take slight to that, but definitely Texas and LSU. I mean, if you can't score, you can't win. That's why the LSU fan base feels demoralized, and I think Texas feels the same way.
So you don't see, and we're obviously going to do our picks later on today, but you don't see A&M being, Texas being able to take over A&M as far as win this game.
No, this is a hate game. No, it's definitely Texas can win this game.
You think so?
I think so. Absolutely. And the way that they handled Arkansas, because, Arkansas has been losing by 3 points all season, it seems like. And they got put away in that third quarter. Final was what, 51-37? I mean, this was not a 3-point game at all. They controlled that game. And they looked like they had fun. Every time they scored, they just looked like they were having fun.
What do you think is the key, though, for Texas? Is it going to be Arch Manning? Arch has to play good. Obviously, every quarterback, for the most part, has to play good for their team to win. But I'm saying, does Arch have to have this, coming out party, this great game, this 400-yard game, where it's total yards, where he's running, he's throwing, he's making plays? No. What do they have to do?
I think it's more about Reed. I think it's about Texas A&M quarterback, keeping him in check, not letting him slip right off of a guard or tackle right down the middle, because he didn't find a receiver open.
Keep him in the pocket, make him go through his progression.
No, blitz him, make him a little run for his life, and he's hoping he gets out of bounds for a 1-yard gain. I mean, you keep him running for his life.
And that's if you remember, that's what Notre Dame did. And when they stopped putting pressure on him, that was when the game kind of went sideways for Notre Dame, if you remember. And I know that was the beginning of the year, and they're all different teams now.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame was blitzing.
Mm-hmm.
They were putting a lot of pressure on him early and making him get rid of the ball quicker instead of being able to stand back there and just kind of pick and choose what he wanted to do.
And did they score 44? I think it still scored 44, A&M did. And the way that Reed just ran right over, it was worse than Milroe all over LSU last year. Yeah. That's how Reed was this year against LSU. I mean, he looked 49 points, and he was unstoppable. And that's the problem is the Longhorns, I think, have the ability. I mean, they've got a big line. We know that. But they got to have the speed to, like, slow this guy down because he gets a roll and he's got wheels.
Yeah, he can definitely move in and out of the pocket. He can. They have design runs for him, all of the above. I think their full playbook will be on display this weekend because they can't. It's not that they're not going to get into the SEC championship. They're definitely in, regardless of whatever happens.
Yeah, they're locked.
But I think they want to be able to have that home field because the 12th man, I believe they really want to be able to get in the SEC championship so that if they win the SEC championship, they'll get that bye week and then they'll get the home field, right? Don't they get the home field?
No. Only the first round gets the home field in the first round.
Okay, so
5 over 12, 6 11,
okay,
7,
so those
10,
guys do, but
8,
they just get the bye for the.
They just get the bye, yeah.
But not. It's based off ranking. It's not based off of the.
No, seeding.
Right.
So last year,
it was the conference champions got the bye.
Clemson was the 12, and they had to play the 5 and had to play at the 5 because Clemson got that automatic bid at the 12 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but they changed it up this year as far as going 1 through. Yeah,
they did. So Indiana could easily be a 3 or 4 and get a bye on the first round and not have to play in the first round like they did last year against Notre Dame.
Yeah. So that could be possibly how it could all work out. But so as of right now, do you see Texas A&M? And I know we've got to take a break.
They could win 8 out of 10.
Do you think they could win the national championship though?
Yes.
They're one of your guys.
They have a better chance than Ole Miss.
Do they have the best chance of any SEC team?
No, I think Georgia is the one that's got the coaching and the experience and the whole package over A&M. And that's what's going to make
A&M number 2?
Yeah, A&M number 2. I'm going to go with Bama 3.
Bama at 3.
Yeah.
And then Ole Miss?
And then Ole Miss, then maybe Vandy?
Maybe Vandy.
Because, I mean, if you think about this, Vandy drops this game. They're the Volunteers.
Yeah, they're out.
They're 3 losses.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, and
that's the win.
And that's what's going to make it really crazy because, we're looking at USC, right?
Yeah.
No, USC's out. I'm sorry.
Oregon's in.
Oregon's that 3rd team in the Big Ten. Michigan's too far out. They have too much ground to try and gain. So that's what makes it interesting with the BYU and the Utah because we're already counting Texas Tech in,
Yeah.
And then the ACC is a big mess. We'll talk about it in a little while about the ACC and who's going to the conference championship.
Yep, we will do it. When we come back, we're going to do just that, but we're also going to talk about the Florida State Seminoles. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
And see, my thing with Lane is I ain't forgot what he did when he was at Tennessee. He snitched on him. I ain't forgot that. But he's a great football coach, and he's definitely be a good fit for Florida. What happens when he gets there? He wins 10, 11 games, and we're over 3 or 4 years. And then DeBoer gets fired, and now Alabama's open. Now we're Ole Miss.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Mostly clear the rest of the day with a moderate breeze at 15 miles per hour coming out of the south and temps near 77. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and light sprinkles and be quite warm at 68. Likely thunderstorms in the morning followed by some clouds tomorrow and a high 76. Sunshine Thursday with a temp of 62. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Toyotathon is on at Panama City Toyota, where you can get 1.99% APR on a new Camry and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 3.49% APR on a new Corolla and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 1.99% on a new Tacoma, plus $1,000 in holiday cash. And 1.99% on a new Tundra, plus you'll get $1,000 in holiday cash. Shake up your holidays at Toyotathon.
Offers expire December 1st. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Beyond the score. Beyond the headlines.
Double play.
Our coverage goes deep.
Highway robbery.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Sports Blitz.
Yes, ma'am. It's 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, on the ESPN Northwest Florida app, wherever you want, as well as the radio. We're so thankful for you listening to us right here in the CBC Construction Studio. We're pumped up and ready to go. You can be a part of the show today if you'd like. You can text in. You can call in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are excited and pumped up on this rivalry week. We've been talking about it, and we've got someone on the line that we need to talk to, and we need to talk to him quickly. We've got Taylor Devers from Chop Chat Norvell Central on the phone line. Taylor, how are you doing today, my friend?
You said it. Excited. That is none of the words that have come out of my mouth today. As of what happened this past weekend, it's been a miserable experience, and I think we've all kind of seen that from all Florida State fans throughout the country.
This was just a debacle for Florida State Seminole fans, for sure. Watching this game was a task. I was watching it. I was trying to figure out what was going to happen. I was thinking, well, maybe Tommy Castellanos is going to pull one out here. And then it just got from bad to worse to worse to worse. And I'm just, you were there. You were live. You were going on. Tell us really what happened. Tell us what you felt in the stadium being there. I mean, was it North Carolina State overwhelmed them, or was it the fact that Florida State just was bad?
Yeah, so my seats were actually right behind the student section, close to the end zone. It was actually where Florida State scored their first touchdown and only touchdown of the game in the fourth quarter. It looked promising in that fourth quarter. You thought that Florida State was going to wake up. The stadium was not that loud. Probably the loudest part of that whole trip for me was going from the tunnel to the stadium to start the game, because all I heard was just a bunch of Wolfpack chants. And, I mean, that was probably the most intimidating that I've seen that stadium, because once I got in there and got settled, there really wasn't much of a loud environment. I just thought it was a weird game. Florida State just didn't deliver. You saw the two special teams blunders at the end of the game. I even had an NC State fan at the end of the game even come up to me after the first fumble and was like, man, I really don't want you to kind of take this the wrong way, but I really don't want to win this game after what just happened. And then the second fumble happened. You're like, you know what? Florida State might be cursed. And that was kind of the thought process around everybody. I mean, I was around a bunch of NC State fans, and he was like, you know what, man? I feel very, very embarrassed of y'all because it comes to a point where Florida State just can't get out of their own way. And we've talked about it for weeks. Florida State just cannot get out of its own way, and it continues to happen not only on the road, but just throughout the rest of this season that's happened so far.
And you would hope that it would be a different game plan or something. But it just seems like it's the same thing week after week. It seems like what we're talking about, what we're discussing, are the same problems that we are seeing. You'll see something good that happens. It's like, okay, well, why not go back to that? And then nothing goes back to anything. It's, let's see what's working. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's just throw everything we got against the wall, see what sticks, and we have no identity. We have nothing. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't think they're cursed. I don't know if the ship is going the right way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there was a huge discrepancy between just both programs. I mean, you're seeing an NC State team that had a 5-5 record, just the same. This is a team that literally lost 41-7 to Miami a week ago.
Yeah.
On the road, just basically a deflated team. You thought that Florida State was going to be able to get to that bowl eligibility state and then have to worry about Florida the next week and potentially even go 8-5. But as we know with this team, they're very inconsistent. Mike Norvell talks about it in his press conference. They don't play complementary football. The offense doesn't complement the defense. And let's just face it, I mean, everybody talks about Tony White and this defensive scheme. NC State had 286 yards of total offense. I mean, literally, one of the touchdowns at the very end of the game come off of 4th and 6 when NC State was only up 14-11. They could have kicked the field goal to make it 6, but, you know, you get a true freshman on a veteran tight end, and, you know, it's on an out route, basically a touchdown there to end the game and seal it. But I just thought Florida State's defense played pretty well, but the offense, as I say, with the musical chairs and, you know, moving the ball within the 20s, but once you get to the red zone, as you saw against Alabama, they did phenomenal, but after that point, they have not really done well in the red zone. You think with a Deuce Robinson as your receiver, you would think that would be one of the more better parts of this team, and it just has not happened. And that's why I'm also thinking that Gus may not be here next year, and I think that's a pretty big point in this.
Well, when you listen to his interviews and you hear what he's talking about, he's like, I'm focused on this game, I'm focused on this, I'm focused on this. And it's like, well, you must need to change your glasses because it doesn't look like there's focus. It looks like there's a lot of just scattered. It's like, okay, he's got his game plan set up and it's okay, well, that ain't working, let's do this. And this ain't working, let's do this. And this ain't working, let's do this. And then now you're in the fourth quarter trying to catch up and you don't really have anything that's worked well. So now you're just dependent on, you know, let's just see if Tommy can break, you know, the coverage breaks down and he goes out and does something spectacular to maybe put us back into the game. It just doesn't seem like they have a plan. It doesn't seem like, and I agree with you, he does not seem like he's coming back next year. He doesn't seem like he's got the urgency to turn it around. He doesn't seem like he's got the fire in his belly, so to speak. It seems like it's a tired, even when he's, and I get it, when you lose, it does take a lot out of you, and this is not his first rodeo. He's been in this game a long time, but it does seem like during his press conferences and things that he's low energy. There's not a bunch of excitement, and even like before going into the game, Jeffrey's made a big point to say that North Carolina State has been the most inconsistent college football team this whole season. Well, now I don't know if maybe Florida State's the most inconsistent because their offense looks very inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the rushing totals. You know, Castellanos had 11 carries for 76 yards. That's great. I think that's what you need from Thomas Castellanos. Every single game, he's got to have like 40 or 50 or more rushing yards. But then you got guys like Gavin Sawchuk who gets 8 carries here and there. Even Roy Dale had 7 carries in the game. He was in pass protection. He was in meaningful snaps. I didn't understand that. You know, the Usman Chroma, you know, the talented true freshman only has 4 carries. It doesn't seem like much momentum at all. And Mike Norvell talks about how Cam Davis is going to get involved and other pieces are going to get involved in this offense. They never do. You see the projected depth charts. They come out, they're the same every single week as it pertains to the NC State game. You turn it over to the Florida game, it's the exact same copy and paste mindset. Yep. It just looks weird to me. I just don't understand the philosophy of the offense. I know that he's a great offensive coordinator. I know he can be a great offensive mind, but it just seems like that team, as soon as they get under a bit of pressure and this offense has to tense up and actually perform to a level, they just can't do it. And I just wonder why that is, and I just can't put my finger on it.
Do you think that with Mike Norvell handing the keys over to Gus Malzahn, do you think that it's basically his show, and now that, because Mike Norvell knows, he's done this game before as well. He's not a rookie to coaching. He knows that somebody's going to have to take the blame. Somebody's going to have to take the fall, and he doesn't want it to fall on him. And so do you think that this year, with him passing the keys to Gus Malzahn and allowed him to be responsible, the adult in the room basically, for the offense, and now that it's not working, do you think it's just going to be an easier way? Because it seems like Norvell is, when you look back at great teams, let's just talk about this for a second. Obviously I'm an Alabama fan, so everybody remembers Coach Saban screaming at Lane Kiffin. Yeah. Everybody remembers him getting on Kirby Smart at times on something that would happen. He would get on to Sarkisian at times. He would say stuff. You would see him get frustrated at his coach. That's what lacks in the Florida State sideline. I don't see the emotion. I don't see, and again, I could be wrong. I could, maybe the camera's not on Mike Norvell enough to see that. But does that seem like something that you're noticing too, that he's giving the keys to Gus, and if Gus fails, well, that's Gus's fault?
Yeah, it's a weird, awkward dynamic. I noticed him on the sideline because I was looking at him basically the whole time, especially when the moment tensed up. You're not seeing, Coach Norvell and Coach Malzahn actually going after each other and having those disagreements because, let's face it, they worked together at Tulsa. Mike Norvell was able to get a job because of Gus Malzahn. His whole offensive scheme is based around Gus Malzahn. So when you think about Gus being able to call the plays, they're literally almost the same exact offense. I mean, Malzahn does a couple of different reverses and kind of some weird things. You don't really see as much of the screen game that Norvell does, but just in terms of the philosophy as the offense goes, this is about the same as what you would get from Mike Norvell in terms of the ideas. I just think the guys just aren't being able to put it in place and then together. You saw it with Jordan Travis and how great of a quarterback he was and some of the weapons you had around him. You have a great weapon in Deuce Robinson, but is Thomas Castellanos the guy that you really, really need? It's a better step up than DJ Uiagalelei, but I just wonder what's going to happen in terms of getting that running game together because as even Gus Malzahn talked about, he doesn't have to have a committee approach. He's always had that workhorse back. And with this offense that you have right now, you have like 4 or 5 different running backs that are taking the charge, and you just don't know what to do, and it's hard to get a momentum going.
Yeah, and that's the biggest key for this offense. And, there again, we did give DJ Uiagalelei a lot of grief on this show specifically last year and all of the things that went on. And I'll be honest, a lot of the things doesn't seem like it's Tommy's fault. And again, I'm not a big Tommy Castellanos fan. I don't agree with some of the things he said being at his interviews. But I will be fair to say that he does make plays. There are times where he stretches the field and does do some things. But as a coach, shouldn't you know what your quarterback can and can't do? But it seems like he doesn't. There's times that Gus doesn't know who he's got. It's like your offense is your offense, but if you don't have the players that can run your offense, why are you putting them in position to fail? Because it doesn't seem like he's got the players that he's trying to run the offense to. Cam Newton is not suited up. You've got a 5'8", 190-pound Tommy Castellanos, and he's thinking that Cam Newton's standing back there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Castellanos is some great, wonderful thrower. Even in the offseason, we talked about it before. Yep. There are some limitations with Castellanos, as it is. I'm not saying this is the perfect offense by any means. I thought Deuce Robinson could be a special piece, but I didn't think it was going to be a 1,000-yard special. Shout out to him for getting the Seminole all-time record receiving yards in the season list. But just in terms of Castellanos, though, it just doesn't seem like he can throw over the middle of the field because, honestly, I don't think he can see over the offensive lineman, and that's a big concern. why aren't you being able to roll him out of the pocket,
move the pocket,
get him to extend the legs, and then being able to throw down the middle of the field? But, I mean, obviously all it is so far is just sideline passes to Dukes Robinson. I just wonder if he's ever going to grow accustomed to that. We only have one more game in the regular season, and if you lose to Florida, you're done.
Yeah, there is no more after Florida. This is your Super Bowl. This is everything that it has to be. This is not just bragging rights. This is to be able to continue into the postseason. Whether it doesn't matter what the bowl game was. We talked about before we came on air. Jeffrey was talking about whatever bowl game.
Gasparilla.
Yeah, the Gasparilla Bowl was looking like that's going to be the pick. But you don't beat Florida, we got big problems.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, this is a Florida team that is literally made of glass. As I said before, they are a wounded animal without a head coach. They don't have any motivation. They played a little bit harder, but let's just face it, this is a 3-8 football team. You should beat this team. Tate Rodemaker went in there to the Swamp and basically was going to a Southern Miss and then turned over to go to Western Carolina, and now he's phased out as a quarterback now. He went in there to the Swamp and beat Florida. It is not that much of a hard environment if you put your mind to it, if you're able to get first down, if you're able to settle that crowd down a little bit more. I think you can be able to be successful. I mean, this is a team that's not won that many games this year, and their confidence is low as well. So, I mean, they don't have anything to play for. This is actually their last game. I mean, I understand the motivation factor of it all, of Florida trying to play tough for its last game and trying to get into the next season. But this is a game Florida State needs and should win.
Yeah, they should, and that's the big kicker. Like it's gonna be rivalry week. It's gonna be we hate them, and the fact is, Florida State's got the most to lose here for sure, 100%. Now, when you look at this game, we've been talking about Facebook and how we've put the poll out and the rivalry week. Right now, it's got, with our poll, it's got Florida State and Florida being the second to Alabama and Auburn being the rivalry hated, the most hated rivalry. Where do you put Florida State in the most hated rivalries?
It's up there, but I honestly think that Miami and Florida State are probably even remotely over them. But I do think this is still a great rivalry. They've had some great moments in this rivalry, especially the choke at Doak. I just think there is a lot of great games in this rivalry that you can turn back to. And I understand the last couple of years in terms of this rivalry's perspective has not been great. I mean, you've looked at, the 2021 game, for example. This kind of reminds me of that, how Florida State and Florida were going into game 5 and 6. Florida had an interim head coach, and Florida State was not able to win that game in the Swamp. And you turn around and you're kind of looking at Mike Norvell like, man, you're 5-7 now at this point. You lost to Florida after they don't even have a coach. Their roster is kind of diminished. And you saw a Damian Pierce, who was in the NFL for a couple of years and still around a little bit. But you just look at those kind of guys and you wonder if he was ever going to get back to it. And now you're kind of having that deja vu moment in year 6 of what that moment could be. And I just wonder if Florida State's going to be up to the task this time to actually get the job done.
So let me ask you this as far as the rivalry week goes. Why don't you name your top 5? Because Jeff's named his top 5 with a very shocking number 3, but name your top 5 of rivalry week.
I would probably have to go 1, as in probably Ohio State and Michigan. Because, I mean, if you look at that rivalry, Ohio State basically bases their whole season off of saying, you know what, if we don't beat Michigan, I don't even really care. I mean, this is the sense of almost firing Ryan Day because of that situation. Yep. And I think that's weird to me.
Yes.
I would probably go with maybe I would say Auburn and Alabama would be number 2 for me. I don't know if you would classify this as a rivalry, but I'll go ahead and say it. I would probably say Army and Navy.
What?
That's my number 3.
That's exactly who Jeff picked.
And I think that's kind of your kind of MO there. I think that's kind of a great matchup that I think not a lot of people think about with that.
Jeff said that was America. That was America right there.
I just think that's kind of it's a cool rivalry. I think it's just something that'll always be remembered. And like you said, it's a great thing for American sports. So I would definitely have to go 3 there. I would probably say Alabama, LSU probably. It's a toss-up between them and Tennessee. I would kind of go with LSU at 4 with Alabama. And then I would probably go as a wild card that not a lot of people think about, maybe a USC Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I would probably think of that as well.
Yeah, that's what, Jeff had talked about that. Somebody on the Red 17s phone line said that Pitt and West Virginia, that is a really hard game as well.
And they discontinued it for a few years, and they brought it back, which is a good thing. I mean, if you remember, you might not remember this because you're not old enough.
Yeah, and Taylor either. You're way older than both of us. Yeah, go ahead.
Pitt, Penn State back in the early 80s, and then into the 70s and all that, not just the Tony Dorsett years, but the Dan Marino years and everything. Yeah, that used to be a big, rivalry, and they just kind of just discontinued as soon as it got into the 90s, and then Penn State ended up joining the Big Ten, and then it's in the history books, and nobody ever thinks about that one.
So, Taylor, a lot of traction for the Facebook page got today about Texas, Oklahoma. And a bunch of people were talking about that. Where do you put them on your top 10 as far as the rivalries go?
I actually had them just on the outside looking at 7. My 6 is actually Ole Miss and Mississippi State.
Yeah, see, that's been the lowest one so far, but we had over 1,000 people vote, and they were the last of the group. But, obviously being here in the Panhandle, Alabama, Auburn being number 1, and Florida State being number 2. But I agree with you. There are those games that are during the season that's not necessarily the end of the year rivalry games that are probably just as big. And realistically, if you look at the Alabama-LSU game in particular, that game usually decided who's going to go to the SEC championship most of the time.
So here's the problem with I don't want to ever sound biased. You know how I am. I'm trying to give you how I look at things, but I'm not trying to be LSU focused or biased. But the problem with Alabama, Georgia being on that next level as far as rivalry goes is that they don't play each other every year.
Right, they don't.
And so they played twice for the national championship. LSU, Alabama's only played that one time for the national championship. The SEC championship, which used to be divided by the divisions, they played at least 3 or 4 times. I mean, I know the history behind Alabama and Florida back in the early 90s. SEC championship always seemed to have those 2 teams. But that's the problem with Alabama, Georgia being on this list. They're not even going to make the top 40 because they just don't play every year.
Yeah, I agree with that. And when you look at some of the other games that really, because everything now is kind of getting towards, national title, playoff, all of that. So do y'all believe, and Taylor, I'll ask you first, do you believe that the rivalries kind of are diminishing a little bit because everybody's looking for the making the playoff? Because if you look at this year's Florida State game, there's nothing to play for Florida except for just to beat Florida State. And if they don't beat Florida State, it's no big deal because we're looking for a new coach anyway, and it doesn't start until after Saturday when Lane Kiffin says yay or nay or whatever he's going to say. But the Florida State side, they want to win because they want to make the bowl game. But the rivalry side of it, it really doesn't have its flair because neither one of the teams are going to the playoff.
Yeah, I want to address something real quick, too, though. If you have to say rivalry about 5 times, you're probably going to have a couple of tongue twisters in this whole thing, so we might have to stray away from saying it too many times. But this has just been a big mess. The whole game itself, we've seen Florida State fans so far. When they got that news that Mike Norvell was going to get retained in this game, and a lot of people talked about, I'm not going to donate any more to the Seminole Boosters. Wow. I'm not going to go to any more games. I'm not going to put any more advice into this program. I may not even watch the games until he's fired. And to say to that, I think that that's not going to solve anything. I'm still going to love Florida State regardless of how terrible or how great they are. But I do think that a lot of fans are kind of taking that out of proportion. But I get it, though. The game has lost its luster for Florida State and Florida because you're looking at a 3-8 football team and a 5-6 football team. I'm surprised ESPN2 even put us on the broadcast. I'm surprised we're not on the Telemundo channel at this point.
Yeah, CW is true. Y'all on the CW this week.
It comes to a point where it's just like, what are we even fighting for at this point? And I get it. It's rivalry, and you have to think about it, too, with the whole aspect of, I think about with the ACC championship, with SMU and Clemson and all that stuff that they had to go through and everything last year. And you started to think about, well, if SMU lost that game to Clemson, why are they even in the SEC, in the ACC championship? Are they just going to boycott it? And I even think about teams like Georgia Tech, for example, if they would have won last week and they played Georgia this week. Are they just resting that Georgia game just to get to the ACC championship if they were able to make it? It just seems kind of like a convoluted thing where everyone wants to make the playoffs. They're trying to do what's best for the postseason chances. I get you all want to win a championship, but where's the pageantry of where the rivalry game's at now?
Yeah,
what is happening with that?
Yeah, that's so true. Taylor, we're bumping up against a break. Will you be able to stick around for a little bit of the next segment, or do you have to go?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, sounds good. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about Mike Norvell and this whole decision to keep him for next year. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text in now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Only 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app for the sports fanatic is available at the Apple Store and Google Play. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, likely thunderstorms and light sprinkles, and a low of 69 with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest around 10 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, some sun and a likelihood of thunderstorms and a temp near 73. In the afternoon and evening, mostly clear and a high around 76. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design, build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. His major in college.
We're going streaking through the quad.
LSU Jeff is part of the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson.
Come on, everybody, we're going.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here we go.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio, right here in the Panhandle. Beautiful, beautiful day today. The temperature is nice. I like it outside. But either way, if you want to be a part of the show, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. You can also comment on the Facebook page. We will read those comments on the air. We're with Taylor Devers of Chop Chat, Norvell Central. We've got Jeffrey in the building, Bone Crusher crushing the ones and the twos. Taylor, I was appalled. I was upset. I was aggravated. I'm not a Florida State fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I am so frustrated with the fact that Florida State has been in the state that it's been for so long. These 6 years, to me, have just been not very good. The records have just been inconsistent, and I'm just so amazed at the fact that Florida State, whoever the powers are that be that make the decisions, I just can't understand it. And hopefully you can kind of maybe shed some light, because I don't know. Because everything that I see on the field, everything that I hear in on the fan base, everything that is being put out for Florida State, to me, says that Norvell needs to pack his suitcase and go find him a Memphis, a Tulsa, somewhere else that's outside of the ACC, the Big Ten, and the SEC. Go find you somewhere where you can coach 1 stars, 2 stars, coach them up, get a bowl game, get some, flash, and say you're great and say you can compete with all these big teams, knowing that you really can't, and ride off into the sunset as being a great coach that just could not coach at the large, big schools. Hello.
Not that Florida State's poor. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying, I don't understand with Florida State and how they're going about everything. I just feel like there is a weird circumstance going on here. I don't know if it's because Florida State is just draining of resources because they spent so much money on the stadium and the football-only facility. And then you look at some of the options that are around. Everyone talks about Lane Kiffin, but what options are possibly even left? I mean, John Summerall could possibly be going to Auburn.
Yeah.
Maybe a Drinkowitz can go to Florida. Lane Kiffin might go to LSU. And, I saw that North Texas's coach is going to be going over to Oklahoma State.
Oh, really?
And it's just a factor. I don't know who the options are that you have left. And it almost comes to a point where you're seeing, teams like a Wisconsin and other places like that are just going to give their coach another year, and hopefully the options get a little bit better next year.
Wow, that's a great point. You know what? That's believable. That's a definite believable point. So realistically, let all of this Kiffin shenanigans that's going on right now, let all the Summeralls and Satterfields and whoever, Drinkowitz and all them, let it all fizzle out. Let the waves, splash around until it gets calm. Shake out. Let's go one more year. Let's see what we got left. And then next year move on. Because what you don't want as a Florida State fan, and agree with me or disagree with me here, is you don't want to make a decision now just because everybody else is open and available and you get locked into a 4-year, 6-year deal with somebody that you really didn't want and you really don't know what they can bring to the table. And Norvell, you kind of know what you already have with him.
Yeah, it's not a $54 million buyout situation. It is about $100 million that you're going to have to commit to the next coach at Florida State. That is a lot of money. It doesn't really matter. It can be like just blowing it on something that is very, very inconsiderate, and you don't need it. And that's kind of the factor of it is Florida State going to go out and hire a group of 5 coach for $100 million? And the fate of your program and what you stand on, and I understand, Mike Norvell is not going to, he's not won a whole lot of games here, and he's only had 2 winning seasons in the last 6 years if they don't win this next game against Florida. And I understand the ramifications of what it takes with all that money. But at the same time, are you going out there to invest in someone that hasn't proven it, that you've got to go back to another group of 5 deal after you've already had Willie Taggart, Mike Norvell, and now another one? There's no way.
That's it. You sold me. I'm sold. I agree with Florida State now. I have changed my opinion with a matter of 5 minutes. And I agree with what Florida State has done. I think keeping Mike Norvell is the best case scenario for this university.
Can I destroy you?
Go ahead.
On what you believe in that right now? All right. What if Florida State is it's an educational institution, okay, building new dorms, new apartment living, new parking, upgrading the stadium, and not caring about the athletic end of the school and making it a prestigious school as far as this region goes. They're not interested in spending the money on athletics. And the athletic director is sitting there with his hands tied because he just doesn't have the money to spend on it.
I mean, that's a good point. I just don't see them staying embarrassed on a national stage week in, week out, and being made fun of but and then on his comeback is, have you seen our dorms lately, though? Have you seen our athletic field, though? Yeah, we're putting trash on the field, but man, Doak Campbell, looks really good.
Yep.
No.
We got a nice place to not put the fans.
I don't know, Taylor. All I know is I think that's a great I really believe that, and you know what I believe that's going to come with that. He's going to make it look very good this offseason. He's going to get rid of Gus. Gus is going to, mutually part ways. He's going to try to maybe grab him somebody that might be a little bit of a splash hire that will make himself look a little bit better. Tony White might go to UCLA or go somewhere else, and then he might try to grab somebody else. What do you think about those things?
Actually, I think Gus is probably going to be the one that goes. I think Tony White actually sticks around another year. I think if they get some more capable linebackers as well as an elite pass rusher in the portal, I know pass rushers are a big commodity in those big teams, and they're always wanted, especially them in offensive tackles. But just looking at what Florida State brings to the table, they talked about in that statement how they wanted to have a bigger approach to recruiting and having that mindset there. Front office changes are going to be in store. We wonder what's going to happen with Derek Ray, the current general manager at Florida State. Are they going to hire someone like an Andrew Luck from a Stanford? Not him, but just saying in terms of a guy like that that's going to be heavily involved. Are you even going to see the ramifications of hiring a GM? Is that even going to do anything with Florida State? Because let's face it, Florida State's best recruiting class in his 6 years so far at Florida State has been 12. Florida State fans expect top 10. That may be spoiled because of the Bobby Bowden and the Jimbo Fisher era. But guess what? I mean, that is the standard at Florida State. And as he said before in his press conference, have you obtained the standard? He said, heck no, we have not done that. So what are you going to get to that point in doing so? The 25 class has been phenomenal. The 26 class is ranked, I think, 14th right now in the country. Are you going to be able to get into that top 10 with signing day a little over 9 or 10 days away? That's a big factor in what Florida State's going to do for the future of this program. May not even be coaching changes. I even bring it back to what Jordan Travis has said. You got to bring the players in, and you got to get tremendous players on this roster, because if you don't, the coaches can only do so much. The players have to perform on the field too. Mike Novota didn't go out there and fumble that 2 muff punts. I mean, he was not the one to do that. So you have to be able to coach those guys up, but those players have to go perform. That's a big thing that Florida State's going through right now, and it's a yin and a yang with this situation that's going on so far in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, I sat back and listened to y'all talk about that Florida State-NC State game. And I know, it was special teams. I get the 2 fumbles, right? But then you have the 2 interceptions on top of it.
Yeah.
So you outrushed your opponent. You outpassed your opponent. And NC State really was not phenomenal.
No.
I mean, the numbers were not big. They just sat back and collected that win and watched Florida State fumble that game away.
Yeah.
Because by the numbers, you would think that Florida State would have won by 10 points, and they lost by 10 points.
Yeah.
And it came a little too late, of them trying to gather enough to get it done. I mean, it's underwhelming because that opponent they're better than what they even did. NC State, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. And I was telling Paul during the break he kept on talking yesterday about coaching cycle. And it's like, you only have so many good coaches to go around, and you've got 13 job openings, actually 12 now because Virginia Tech basically filled theirs, right? Next year, there might be like 4. And you might get a person who's a year more mature to where they want to leave, like Drinkwitz leaving Missouri or Willie Fritz leaving Houston, to where you might have your pick of the litter next year, because all these other big schools, they fired their coach this year. So next year, you might have your pick of the litter.
And it might be, too, that NFL jobs or coordinators might be shook out as well because of the NFL season. You know how it goes. It can go up or down, or it's really what have you done for me lately with those guys as well. So this is a great opportunity for Florida State, and I'm 100% am going to make the statement today. I made it earlier. You guys have 100% changed my mind. I think this is the right way to go for Florida State because the jobs are too available. There's too many available jobs with the coaching trees and all of the people. Because let's just be honest. Are these other schools that are going to grab these Satterfields, Summeralls, and even the guy out at North Texas, are they making a big, big mistake because they just had a good year and they're going to get locked into what Florida State got locked in with Norvell because he was those guys? Mike Norvell has been John Summerall. Mike Norvell is Satterfield, and that's what we're seeing displayed right now for Florida State. So maybe Florida State is smarter than we all think, and they are making the right choice in the decision.
I will make one last statement before I head on out, but Clemson plays South Carolina this weekend. South Carolina's a favorite in that game. If Dabo ends up losing to South Carolina, and let's just say he parts ways or leaves, or he gets fired, whatever the case is, and they're 6-6 to end the year, you have a two-time national champion sitting right there. Programs always want national champions. We talk about it all the time about winning the big game. Dabo's done it. But is that going to open up more of the coaching market, and is other guys going to take advantage of trying to step out of their comfort zone and go to other places? I don't know. That's just the kind of an obstacle that I think a lot of teams are going to have to face now.
Wow, that is a good take right there. Taylor, what's your plans for the holiday?
Nothing much. I'm going to fry up some gator this weekend because we're going to beat the Gators in Gainesville. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it. It's going to be an ugly slop fest of a 20-17 type of game. And DJ Lagway is going to get his first down signal up there, 28-0 against Tennessee. And he's going to do his best impression of throwing 3 picks just like he did against LSU.
Wow. All right, Taylor. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you. We hope you guys have a great time, and we appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk to you next week.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
All right, buddy. And when we come back, we've got some pick'ems to do. We got to get on to this college football season. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 7T Studio Line.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
And see, my thing with Lane is I ain't forgot what he did when he was at Tennessee. He snitched on him. I ain't forgot that. But he's a great football coach, and he's definitely be a good fit for Florida. What happens when he gets there? He wins 10, 11 games in a row for 3 or 4 years, and then DeBoer gets fired, and now Alabama's open. Now we're Ole Miss.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hiller's here, you don't need to worry. If you're stuck without any heat, we'll be there in a hurry. Hiller's here to help you right away. We'll be there to fix you up, call the Happy Face Truck today. Yes, Hiller's here, so never fear, call the Happy Face Truck today. Hiller!
Happy holidays from the Hiller family. Take advantage of our current specials and deals at happyhiller.com.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linden. Call 850-320-8388.
Right now, over 300 kids in Northwest Florida are waiting for a mentor like you. Just a few hours a month can change a child's life and yours. It doesn't take much to be the difference. Become a big brother or big sister today. Call 850-433-KIDS or visit bethebig.org to learn more. Mentoring changes lives. Will you be the one to step up?
If you build it, they will come. We're live from from the CBC Construction Studios. Some people say our opinions are toxic. We say they're just a little terminal. The Sports Blitz.
This malpractice committee has received a few complaints against you.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio. You can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. What we're going to do right now is I've got an Anytime Fitness 30-day free trial right now. If you call right now, Bone Crusher will take your call, and you will get that for free. It is courtesy of 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. The address is 2310 West 23rd Street, Panama City in the Coronado Village. And their phone number is 850-640-3165. Anytime Fitness, we're giving away a free 30-day free trial right now. Beat all of the New Year's resolution people. Get over there. Call in right now, 850-215-6290, and Bone Crusher will hook you up with a free trial of Anytime Fitness. They got some awesome stuff going on over there, some classes, some special stuff too. So do that. Jeffrey, we got some pickings to do, but before we do our pickings, let's do our pickings. Go ahead.
Okay. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Got Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is going to whip them boys this year, and it's going to be a big deal. Mississippi State's going to play with them for the first 2 or 3. No, I'm sorry. I'm telling you right now, this game is going to be tight. Mississippi State, I had you going, didn't I?
You did. I was like, wow, Brian Adams like going to hate you.
Mississippi State's going to play the game of the year that they've ever played, and I'm telling you, this is going to be an eke-out game. I could see this game being a 3-point game. Ole Miss pulling it out, surviving against Mississippi State, because if they lose this game, they're out of the playoff, and Lane Kiffin gets to go to Gainesville sooner than later.
You know, it's sad because Mississippi State's had a really great year. I think they've won 5 games this year. I think they're 5-6.
Yeah, they've actually played really good at times.
But the problem is the games that stick out in my mind is that way they let Texas back in and beat them.
Yeah.
And the way that Florida, when they got to the point where they were going to fire Napier, they beat Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 games that kind of stick out in my mind, and those aren't good. But if they beat Ole Miss, boy, everybody would be remembering Mississippi State winning this game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this. They're definitely on the up and up trajectory. Mississippi State is.
Yeah.
They definitely are better than everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah. So you probably would love to hear this. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Because I picked that. You know, when we picked 2 coaches to get fired, I said Napier and I said Jeff Levy, who I can't even remember his name. That's how I'm impressed with him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, he made it.
We're going to pick different teams in some of these. Clemson and South Carolina. I'm going to take South Carolina.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I've been so horrible at picking ACC games this year. Last week, I went 7-3, and I picked 3 ACC. The only 3 ACC games that we had to pick last week, I was wrong on all 3 of them, and I was 7-0 otherwise.
Wow.
So I'm not good. But I'm going to go with South Carolina against Clemson.
Yeah, you're going to make another bad choice again on the ACC. Give me Clemson. I think they found their mojo. I think this is going to be I don't even think it's going to be close. I'll be honest with you. I think Clemson is going to be able to do what they want. I think they're going to impose their will on those mighty Gamecocks. And South Carolina, we haven't really talked about them very often. We've talked about them some, but just a little bit. They're in a peculiar situation. This year was supposed to be their year, and it has been all but nothing else but less than that. And Lenore Sellers, everybody was talking about him. He was the most ready for the NFL. He was one of the ones. He was going to be top 5 pick, and not even close. They're even talking about him transferring somewhere else next year. Miami's been listed. Other places have been listed or whatever. But I'm telling you, Clemson's going to handle South Carolina this weekend, and it's not going to be – I don't even think it's going to be close.
Yeah. Iowa and Nebraska. Who you got?
Iowa by 50.
Iowa. No.
I think Iowa's going to smash Nebraska, though. I mean, everything that Matt Rule has done with Dylan Raiola, or everything that he's done has been through Dylan Raiola.
Yeah.
And with Raiola out, I don't think they have a shot.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw this or not, but Dylan Raiola's brother decommitted from Nebraska. So I don't know. There's a buyout clause going on with Matt Rule, and he had been talked about in the Penn State deal. There is a little deal in his contract that if he did decide to jump ship right here at the end of the season to go to Penn State, that there's a possibility that could happen because he's got a little small buyout there.
Oh, wow. All right, Georgia Tech. I got Georgia.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be close. I think last week's loss by Georgia Tech, I think that really diminished the team. I think Brent Key will still keep them in the game. I think they'll play tough. I think they'll play hard. And Georgia's MO for this year has not been to play very good in the first and second quarter, make a transition, make a few adjustments, and then get really good at the end. I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the same Georgia team not play very good in the beginning. Haynes King and those guys at Georgia Tech is going to be able to move the ball. Haynes is going to run the ball. He's going to do those things that he always does. But I think in the end, Georgia will pull out at the end and win. And it's not at home for Georgia Tech. It's in the Dome, so it's going to be more Georgia fans there than Georgia Tech fans.
Yeah, it will be. It's interesting because you know how Miami choked last year and lost 2 of the last 3 games after the 9-0 start.
Yep.
Georgia Tech has just dropped off.
They have been the ones. So, they're out now. They're not going to be able to.
They are eliminated. And if I ask you who are the top 3 teams who only have 1 ACC loss, you wouldn't be able to tell me who those 3 teams are.
I would say SMU, Miami.
No.
Virginia.
Yes.
I don't know the other one.
It's Pittsburgh.
Pitt. Okay.
It's not Miami. Miami's got 2 conference losses.
They got 2 conference losses. That's
so it's between Pitt, Virginia, and SMU are the 3. And you know what all these 3 teams have in common?
What?
They didn't play each other. All of them did not play each other.
Wow.
So it goes to show you, any given year, you have a weak schedule, and the ACC is just knocking each other off, and the teams that are left are the ones that didn't have to play everybody.
To be fair, we said that.
Yeah.
And let me say this.
Eat each other.
While we're in the middle of our picking, AutoNation Ford, Panama City, you don't want to step aside from these guys when you're looking for a new vehicle, whether it's used or new. Go see them, 730 West 15th Street, right there by the railroad tracks. You can go in there. They'll get you fixed up, whatever color, whatever style. Any of the trucks, they've got their Black Friday deals going on right now. This is the time to go. Beat the crowd. Go out there, see them, tell them Paul sent you, and you'll get taken care of. Also, don't forget our friends over at Recommended Collision Center. They do fantastic work. You still got time to get your estimates before the end of the year. It slowed down a little bit because of the holidays, but Brandon and those guys will be there to help you. Locally owned, locally operated, and if you mention the show, you definitely get a big discount there with Brandon and them. So go see them guys. They know exactly what to do to get your car back into the proper way for your vehicle to look.
And don't drive like a Georgia Bulldog.
That's right. No barking behind the wheel.
Did you hear about that story?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
we talked about it. It's terrible.
Texas A&M in Texas. I'm getting pulled over. Sorry, guys.
Yes, sorry.
Texas A&M. I got Texas A&M. I'm going to go with the Aggies on this one.
Yeah, this is one of those games that I think possibly could be the upset because I do think that Texas can beat them. I think that Texas players are just as good, if not better, than A&M. I don't think A&M's roster is better than Texas. I just think that this is a special season for A&M. And, you know, as much as I want to pick Texas, as much as I think that we could, you know, I think that this is going to be the upset that could possibly happen. Do I have enough confidence in Texas A&M, or do I have enough confidence in Texas to say that they're going to win? Yes, I do. Give me the Longhorns for the upset. They're going to beat Texas A&M. They're going to throw a kink into all of this playoff stuff. A&M's still going to go to the SEC championship, but they're going to go tarnished with a loss from the Longhorns. You heard it first right here.
This pick was sponsored by the Lone Star Boil House.
That's exactly right. That's
we
right.
got Miami at Pitt. Give me the Panthers, baby.
What?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Upset of the weekend. Pitt Panthers, man. I know they got slipped. They slipped by Georgia Tech, but guess what? They're going to do it a second week in a row. And Pitt's going to the ACC championship out of nowhere because nobody saw it coming.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Well, you know what? My friend, I'll call him my friend, Christopher Multiconte. He would be so mad at me if I was to pick Pitt. And so with that being said, I am going with the Hurricanes of Miami. Give me Hurricanes because Pitt is not going to be able to keep up with them offensively. Give me the Hurricanes.
Man, I made another enemy. Multiconte.
He already didn't like you.
He already didn't like me. It's like a next level.
Yeah, you're never going to get an invite to the parties.
Nope. Ohio State and Michigan. Give me Ohio State, man. They're going to win by 10.
They're going to finally break the back.
But they're not going to score a lot because guess what? It's Big Ten football, and they don't score a lot at all.
So you think
it's really boring.
You think it's going to be boring?
No, yeah. It's going to be 23-13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You've seen these Big Ten games.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a different game. I think this year's game is going to be a lot different. I don't think Michigan's going to be able to run the football. I don't think Bryce Underwood is going to be the guy. I think they might score a touchdown. I don't think they're going to score more than that. But I do think Ohio State is going to put it on them pretty good this year. Give me 35-10. Ohio State. Ryan Day is finally going to get the monkey off his back and beat the Michigan Wolverines, and that'll be it. And it'll put to sleep all of this talk about Michigan upsetting Ohio State.
I think it's going to hurt Julian Sands' Heisman hopes, and I think he'll still be invited to New York, but I don't think he's going to get the nod for the Heisman this year. And part of it is going to be because of this game.
Yeah.
All right, Vandy at Tennessee. Give me Tennessee, baby. Oh, my God. Brandon's going to like me at least.
Yeah.
Are you going with Vandy?
You know, I just think Tennessee is going to be able to move the football against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But I think
Joey Aguilar.
I think Vanderbilt is going to be able to move the ball more on Tennessee.
Wow.
So give me the Vanderbilt Commodores with Diego Pavia. He might have his Heisman pose against those Volunteers, and they will hate it because we haven't mentioned that game. The way Vanderbilt has gotten to be much better. This rivalry is moving up the ladder now a little bit more. So this game right here, you're going to see some hatred. You're going to see some aggravation. You might see some 15-yard penalties for unsportsmanlike between Tennessee and Vanderbilt this year. That might be the first time ever because this game means whether or not Vanderbilt has a chance to get into the playoff. Would we ever have thought Vanderbilt could get into the playoff and Tennessee's just playing for pride? Wow.
Vandy wins, they're in. Vandy loses, they're out.
Right.
Yeah.
Give me Vandy.
Yep. Florida State at Florida. This is the hardest pick for me to do this week. And you might not think that. But I'm going to go Florida Gators.
Wow.
Even though I hate to, I'm going to go Florida Gators.
Man. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is rivalry week, man.
It is.
8 week.
It is. I just, with the way Florida State played last week, can they play that bad again?
I know, because the 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, they gave that game to NC State. You know how many times NC State turned the ball over? 0.
Yeah.
4-0. You can't win a game when the turnover battle is 4-0.
And the thing is, though, when you look at how bad Florida looked last week against Tennessee, you know what? Florida. Give me the Seminoles to beat the Gators. You heard it right here. Thanks for listening today. We appreciate it. We will be on the air tomorrow, and we will see you then. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. Have a good night, everybody.
Only 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida could bring sports fans like you an app this powerful. The sports content you crave is always on. Live stream us everywhere you go. Now with upgraded programming and live game schedules, you'll always know when the Atlanta Braves and your favorite games are playing. Plus, interact with our local hosts in real time and so much more. The new app for the sports fanatic is available at the Apple Store and Google Play. From 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your